Hey guys, it's Justine.
And I'm Jenna.
Welcome to a new episode of the Same Brain Podcast. Today we have a special guest. Let's roll that intro. Today on the podcast, we have Harpreet Rai, who is the CEO of Oura Ring. And I've been wearing an Oura Ring for about 3.5 months.
Braggy.
I know. And most of the people had been seeing it in videos and they're like, oh my gosh, are you engaged? What's going on? I was like, I'm tracking my sleep.
And this is the only piece of jewelry I will ever wear because I don't like wearing jewelry, but I like jewelry that will give me feedback about my life and help me improve my sleep. It's not helping me improve my sleep yet because I'm not taking the necessary steps that I have to do to better myself, but now I am more aware.
Well, it's interesting too because I've been wearing it for the past couple of months and then I was like, Jenna, you got to get this. Like it's been helping me so much just see when I'm getting enough sleep. It's giving me the suggestions and it's also giving me an excuse not to go out late when people are like, hey, we're going to go to dinner at 8. I go, I can't do that. I got to be like winding down.
Absolutely.
I got to go to bed between 9:30 and 10:30.
Yes.
My ring said so.
So let's talk a little bit about the ring before we hop into the interview. So give us a little overview. What does this do? What is it?
The Gen 3 was just announced and I'm so excited because those start shipping very soon. And it's really cool because later next year, you'll be able to do O2 tracking. This has a heart rate tracker that will track all throughout the day. And it even has new temperature sensors. So it'll be able to track your temperature more accurately and consistently throughout the day. And I never realized, Jenna,
Yes.
Did you know that when you get your period, your temperature drops?
I remember learning that a while ago, but never really paying attention because like, why would I know or why would I be taking my temperature? I only take my temperature when I think I'm getting sick. There's just so many different things that can affect your body. Like yes, hormones will have a change in how your temperature, alcohol, drinking alcohol, eating late. Halloween night, we stayed up late. We ate candy. We ate a super late dinner and my heart rate was, it let me know. It's like your heart rate was high last night. I'm like, I know I was bad, but it's like, there's so many different things where now like the things that I'm doing, I am seeing with my data and I can therefore, adjust and make myself hopefully better and hopefully become a better sleeper because I have had trouble sleeping for the past 10 years.
Yeah. And I'm the type of person that honestly has no problem falling asleep. Like I will lay my head down and I do this thing called perfect comfort. I do this like jiggling, moving around. And then as soon as like I can't feel my body hurting, then I'm like, I'm perfectly comfortable. I can fall asleep.
Yeah, but have you ever tossed and turned all night for 8 hours? It's exhausting.
No, but this is where it's interesting because there are some mornings where I wake up, I feel absolutely wrecked. I've slept enough, but I may have woken up in the middle of one of my sleep cycles. I didn't know that was an issue. So instead of trying to get that extra 30 minutes of sleep, like waking up at 6:30, waking up at 6 a.m. may be better for some people depending upon your sleep cycle. And there's so much that I've been learning about sleep. And I definitely want to share it with you guys, but I still feel like I'm in the early stages of this. So we should bring in our resident sleep expert here, the CEO of Oura Ring. Hi, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
Hey, Justine. Hey, Jenna. How are you?
We are doing very well. I had a decent night of sleep and I was supposed to start filming early today. And I decided, you know what? I need to take a nap before this interview. And I feel honestly like incredible.
Well, I had a great night's sleep, so I'm ready. How are you though? How are things?
How was your sleep?
I'm pretty good. I actually think I may have a higher score than both of you today, but let's see, 91 readiness, 88 sleep. So today's a good day and it's going to be a good interview.
I had an 83 sleep, which it said was my highest. And I was like, thank you, melatonin. Thank you so much. I usually my sleep is horrible, but that's one of the good things about the Oura Ring is that I've only had it for about a week and a half, but I'm learning all my patterns and I'm really excited to kind of figure out what's going on with me and my body. So I am really excited to talk to you today and kind of hear a lot of the backstory and I guess the future too.
Yeah, it's been so cool. And actually last night I stayed out late at a dinner and the girl that I was sitting next to also had an Oura Ring. She noticed mine and she goes, oh my gosh, I have one too. I go, yeah, we should be in bed right now. Like mine has just gave me an alert that I should be getting ready for bed and we're having a full meal. And I mean, I guess for you kind of like seeing where it's gone. I mean, now that you're in Gen 3, I mean, how has this all been progressing and like what was like your most proudest moment?
Wow. Someone just asked that last week to us in an all hands for the team. And I think, frankly, it's just seeing the team come together. I think we're now nearly 350, actually getting probably closer to 400 people. And like all the different parts of the team that need to come together, right? If we're doing things on improving sleep staging accuracy, we're collecting that data in sleep labs. We collected it actually all across the world, 3 different continents for this new algorithm. Getting that into, all the hardware, things like firmware, right, encoding that, getting that eventually into a server side, into an app, and bringing features back, honestly, to users to members that are changing their behavior. Like you said, I think just seeing that all come together, someone said this to me once, it only looks like magic. So I think, it's a lot of hard work by the team, and I think that's honestly what I'm most proud of.
And then when did you join the team, and kind of what has that journey been, and how have you kind of shaped it to be, what it is today?
I joined the team probably when we were under 20 people. I want to say I was employee number 17. That was back in May of 2017. So, almost 4.5 years now. We set out to really help people, live health as a daily practice. And you were just talking about it. You were just at dinner and you were both joking how, hey, we should actually probably not have an extra drink or finish our dinner early or not eat too much too late. And I think, being able to see that now reaching hundreds of thousands of users is just something like, hey, you have an idea, you're starting to see people talk about it, but now becoming more and more, aware with the regular person. I think to us, that helped you sleep better last night and, helps you better for this interview today. And I think, it's just seeing that all happen out there is sort of still pinch myself.
Yeah, and I think it's being able to quantify that too, because it's like I always felt, I was like, man, I feel so much better if I sleep. And then people were like, no, you're fine. And then, being able to be like, no, look, I have the actual data. I can't go to this party. I have to go to bed.
Pull the receipts on why you cannot go to the party.
What gets measured gets mastered, right? And so I think we have a lot of dashboards for different things, right? Our stock portfolios or Bitcoin portfolios. I think being able to give people continuous data on their own health and their bodies allows you to actually realize, hey, no, I did something that had way worse of an impact than I thought. Super informative. And you feel better the next day. You get higher readiness scores, and you're ready to take it on. So I think again, that what gets measured gets mastered is just so empowering.
We just jumped into this, and I'm assuming that everybody watching this or listening knows exactly what we're talking about. They could be very confused. So we're talking about the Oura ring, and this is something that me and Jenna are both wearing right now, and you also have one on as well. And do you want to explain kind of what this is, what your goals are, and what you think people need to know about it, and even why they would want one?
Yeah, sure. So, we're a wearable ring, connects to your phone, both iOS and Android. And, we really give people insights into their health and their daily habits and how, they can honestly be better versions of themselves. We do that because we're constantly collecting, data all the time. We have all these interesting sensors on the inside of this ring that we can dive into. And, frankly, I think the reason it's a ring, why I think you may want this over a wrist-based wearable is, one, it's comfortable and convenient, right? And the battery lasts about 6 to 7 days, right? And, if you just think about it, weighs, less than, I think, 4 pennies on average, about 4 to 5 grams, depending on the size of ring that you are. And it's just really convenient. I think users tell us all the time they forget it's even there. But I think the other thing we really looked at is the accuracy. And, just like every hospital you go into, the doctor measures your heart rate and your SpO2 on your finger. And just like every diabetic, they're pricking actually their finger, right, to measure their glucose. Turns out that, we all know and feel our pulse on the inside of our wrist. Those arteries go to the palm of your hand. And the pulse signal, I studied electrical engineering in college, that pulse signal on your hand is about 2 orders of magnitude stronger than the veins on your wrist, right? And I think we even joke, but it's serious that my skin looks different. Unfortunately, a lot of hair, dark skin, some fat, some tissue, but, all of our palms actually look the same. That also allows us to have a much more uniform reading across people of different ethnicities and races. And, I think if you look at some of the data we've been able to publish and prove this out, to your point of what am I most proud about, is frankly, we've shown we're the best and most accurate wearable for sleep staging, heart rate and heart rate variability overnight, even really cool new features on this new ring like women's health, period prediction. I think we were able to publish, with researchers at 3 different universities, West Virginia, Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute. Jenna, I saw that you went there. And then, also UCSF and Texas A&M. And I think all 3 roughly showed the same thing, that we can see if people may be getting sick with changes in their data 2 to 3 days before they feel symptoms. We make it simple. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be an engineer. Most of our users are not. But we boil it down into simple scores, simple insights, and really accessible data for our members to actually learn from every day and improve their behavior, like you were just talking about last night.
Yeah, it's been incredible, especially for, sports as well. It's like I do a lot of various activities, and I would push myself so hard before that I would not focus on sleeping. And now I can actually see that. And since I've been kind of prioritizing sleep, it's like, oh, I'm actually getting better at everything that I'm doing instead of just exhausting myself.
Well, and I think too, like I have been such a horrible sleeper for probably the past 10 years where I've just like accepted it. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I slept bad last night. Like whatever. It's just my life. But now with the ring, I'm like actually starting to analyze and like understand. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like maybe there is something, like I need to have like a lifestyle change. Like I can improve this. I don't have to just accept the fact that I'm exhausted all day because I didn't sleep. And for me, like, I don't like jewelry. I don't like wearing things. And I actually, like you said, like, you don't even notice it's here. Like, I don't notice that this is here. Like, I do wear the Apple Watch, and my interest in wearing this to bed is just, no, absolutely not. Like, as soon as I can rip this off and put on the charger, like, that's fine because I can feel this. But with the ring, yeah, I really don't notice. And that's why I really like it too, because it's just there and it's collecting all this data and it's helping me become hopefully healthier.
It's interesting, right? We sort of take sleep for granted. All of our heads sort of hit the pillow and we sort of just pass out. We're actually unconscious, right? We don't remember it. I think we take it for granted, and some of us just think, oh no, we're a poor sleeper. But once you start to see some of that data and you're like, wait, no, I was up till 2 a.m. watching Netflix, and the nights that I go to bed at 7 or 8, or sorry, eat dinner at 7 or 8, go to bed at 10 or 11, hey, I actually feel way better. My data is higher and able to then register and quantify it to, I think, Justine, what you said, that like, this was better for me. This was a better behavior. I want to feel better. I want to be more productive. I want to be on top of my interviews the next day, whatever it may be, right? Or just in a better mood, right? Being around friends, family, and coworkers. I think a lot of it is we're all stressed, right? We're all constantly bombarded, with a lot of things to do, and being, in a better mood lets people really tackle that every single day.
Yeah, and I was so excited when you guys announced the Gen 3 because I loved having the O2 tracking. And I've had an Apple Watch on since the very beginning. So it's like being able to have all of that data for so long. Like I wish that I would have got one of the rings sooner. So I'm about 4 months in now. So it's kind of sort of learning my behaviors. And I think that's the most exciting thing, is knowing what your normal is, because it was actually during COVID. I was like, I actually don't know what my normal temperature is. I don't know what my normal blood pressure is. So not knowing like your base normality of what your temperature is. And that's really hard to determine for people. Like if you're getting sick, you have nothing to take to the doctor. So having this ring, it's like you have all of that. Do you want to talk a little bit about what the differences are and some of the upgrades? Because I know I'm personally very excited.
Mine's in the mail. I am very excited as well. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, look, a ton of new features that I think we're all really excited about, and the team has worked hard on. So, I think some of the ones that are probably most, apparent are going to be heart rate during the day and heart rate also after your workouts and activity. To your point, I think on wearing multiple devices, now you can have all of that data, the richest sleep data, your overnight heart rate and heart rate variability, along with this data during the day. I think one of the features and set of features to come that I'm most excited about is women's health. I think a lot of, when we came out in 2015 with the Generation 1, wearables weren't tracking sleep. Fitbit wasn't doing it. Apple still doesn't do it. And we were like, you know what? We want to push the envelope and go beyond steps and activity and really bring sleep, an area that people haven't looked at that's so impactful to their health. I feel, really strongly about the same way about women's health, right? I think it's sort of a shame that the industry isn't really doing enough and investing in these areas that matter, to so many people and can make people so much more aware. And so I think being able to passively get data on your cycle without having to do any work. I think, Justine, you mentioned, the ring sort of learning you. So after 2 cycles, after 2 months, we're going to be able to predict when your period's happening. SpO2 is coming. The hardware is now enabled in the new ring. We'll be turning that on via software, right, in the future. I think sometime next year is what we've said. And the other big thing, I think, is content. So we actually have created a new tab in the app, something that we call sort of the Fifth Avenue of our real estate in our app. And I think, for users that want to learn more about their health, hey, how does caffeine actually affect my sleep? Why can't I fall asleep after watching TV all night? Things like blue light exposure. You're going to be able to learn and get education right on all these things. What does heart rate variability mean? How do I use it? And also get guidance. We'll actually have guided programs in there, starting with guided meditations and breathing exercises, library of over 50 different tracks at launch. And so I think, whether you're trying to learn about health and then finally do something about it, having a one-stop shop for health on this Ring and app, I think is really going to delight our future members.
I mean, it has really changed my perspective on everything. And we even got a chance to chat with one of your sleep scientists the other day. And I learned more about myself and sleep in 45 minutes than I think I have my entire life. Like things that I'd never even realized, like especially talking about like period tracking. Until I wore this ring, I never knew that our body temperatures dropped during your cycle. Had no idea. And I was like, where's this knowledge at? Like this should be something that is like actually taught. And yeah, it was just really fascinating to learn all these interesting techniques. And I feel like you guys are providing this and it's so valuable.
Yeah. I honestly, to me, it's like sort of nuts. You have cars that have more sensors and data on it than your human bodies, right? You park outside on a cold day, right? In San Francisco, it gets a little bit chillier up here, right? And then you'll see your tire pressure drop, right? And that's sort of just people, once they start seeing, the TPMS, the tire pressure management system on the readouts on every single tire, will start to realize that pattern. But to your point, we don't have that in our own health and that continuous data. And I really think that's what users start to realize, all the changes that are happening. And I just think that's fascinating and empowering. Lets you feel like you're in charge of your health. And to Jenna, your point, you can do something about it.
So I know you guys work very well with other wearables because I've been using, especially for the Gen 2, because I felt like the Gen 2 and the Apple Watch worked so well together for me because I was able to track my fitness. And now with obviously the added fitness features and tracking the heart rate, I feel like this one is much more of a standalone device. But for people that do have multiple things and they're thinking about getting the Ring, like how do they work together?
Great question. Luckily, we have a pretty good, partnership and integration team. So we've already integrated with Google Fit and Apple Health Kit. And that allows you to pull in data from other wearables, right? And even other apps, right? And pull that in and get credit for your activity, right, in the Oura app. So, if you, do Strava and you have it connected to HealthKit or Google Fit, that activity data and those calories you burned will get automatically pulled in. And I think, some of those things are, we also push data back, right? Just like we pull data from Apple and Google, we also, partner and integrate in that way where we push it back as well. And so I think users have told us that actually, yeah, I have a Garmin, whatever XYZ device. I'm a super serious runner. I love this thing, but to I think Jenna's point or your point earlier, just was like, I'm not going to wear this to bed. Right, this thing is huge. It's a honking, red light or green light, and it's massive on my wrist, and the battery dies, so I need to charge it every night. So I can actually use both and see all my data in one place. And so I think luckily, yeah, we focused on those integrations, work with those companies together. We're trying to actually even do more direct integrations with app companies in the future as well as we scale our team.
I'm always impressed how it can detect if I'm just out for a walk or if I'm taking a nap. And that's one of the things that any wearable that I've had, even like the Apple Watch, like it's supposed to say when I'm doing a workout or something, but for some reason never really does. And this is so accurate every single time. And then recently I've been moving in my studio, so I've been walking up and down a lot of flight of steps. I was like, oh my gosh, it thinks I'm working out. I'm like, no, I'm just carrying heavy things. But it's like it's still a workout. It's like a functional training basically.
Actually, I was just on a walk before this and trying to get some activity in. And what's pretty cool is, yeah, like you'll get, I don't know if you can see it on the screen here, but you'll get that to your point. Like, hey, workout detected, mine says, walking, confirm it. And the cool thing is, once you either confirm or edit it, so please edit it if we actually don't get the right activity, because we learn from that. It's a machine learning neural network model that is actually processing that data in the cloud, and it gets smarter to you. And so, I had someone yesterday tell me he was playing with his baby. And I was like, you should tag it, edit it in the app if it thinks you're working out, because then we actually learn about it. We can now classify you and other people in the future. The more of those sort of tags, the more we get to learn. And, that'll actually help other users. But, one of the new activities or features in the app, right, is not only do you get to see your heart rate during the day, like that active graph, and you can see it was higher when I was walking, now when you go into your activity, your automatic activity detection, you'll actually be able to see location if you enable it, and the pace and sort of the intensity right there in a detailed view. And so pretty excited about that one too. And, I think to your point of just the ease of use, the convenience, and like it automatically knowing something and recognizing without doing any work is really helpful.
So sometimes I can't wear mine. So I've been training jujitsu, and sometimes when I'm actually rolling with people, I can't, but I will leave it on for just like drills or like training, but then I have to take it off. But you're able to go in and add things as well. So I'll just go in and add, okay, I did martial arts from 12:30 to 1:15. And then that automatically will kind of figure out the data. So for people who can't wear it, they're still able to kind of fill in those blanks.
Totally. That's a great point. I was going to say, I don't know. I have a couple of friends who do BJJ, and that's something that they've mentioned to me as well. And I'm like, is there any big apps for jiu-jitsu and tracking that? Because we could also just pull it in that way as well. But you're absolutely right. At least you can add it to still get that credit, even if you don't use an app to track that activity.
Because it's interesting, because I've definitely seen people, like, they're also wearing them like in the gym, and then they'll wear them during like warm-ups, training, and then like take it off when you actually roll. So it's like people can still wear them part of the time. But like there are times like you can't wear it every single time. And that's whenever I take that opportunity to charge it, because I've barely taken this off in the past 4 months. And it's incredible just to go and have so much rich data, and just I've been telling everybody about it.
You have been, it's true. And you're like, you have to get it. And I'm like, I'm going to get it. I'm like, but I'm just scared to see results, because I'm not in the best shape of my life. I've let myself go, and I'm like, but you know what? This is going to be motivation. Like, I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to get sleep, going to be active. And I've been taking the dog for a lot more walks. And it's funny because I always forget. And it's like, oh, it looks like you went on a walk. And it's like walking. I'm like, yeah, I did. Like, I'll accept that. And then I see, I'm like, wow, we went on a lot of walks today, bud. So it is nice having to like not remember, and that, you know, the ring kind of does it for me. And I did that.
Jenna, to your point, so many of us, especially during the pandemic, our patterns change, right? So a lot of us aren't as active as we used to be. But, you know, we have this saying, like, start where you are, right? It's like, you don't need to compare yourself. And we've actually written our messages in the app, right, to get to know, you know, Justine, you said it, right? We get to learn you. And then it's all about the relative change for you. It's like, you know, yoga, right? It's like, you know, it's your mat, your place, you're focused on you, not the other people. And I think that's a lot about, you know, the ethos that we have, right? We want people just to focus on them and how they can take one step at a time to get better.
So this will actually detect if you're getting sick. So I don't think people understand, because this actually did pop up for me when we were in Maryland. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, this just said I'm getting sick. And it was weird because I felt weird. And so then I went and like did a COVID test. I was like, okay, well, it's not that. And then it just felt like it was like some sort of allergies or something, but like it still detected that like a day before like that sort of hit. And I was like, oh, this is wild. So it's really cool that that's able to detect that. And then what exactly is the rest mode? You know,
some of the data showed, right, that basically there's 4 main signals that we see in the Oura ring that are in your readiness score every day. Your change in resting heart rate variability, respiratory rate, and temperature. Right, and you know, we have 7 temperature sensors in this new ring, 3 in the old ring, and we're measuring temperature every single second. And it turns out that data, if you're looking at it continuously, is actually really correlated to certain things, like if you're getting sick. And we've been able to create algorithms off of that, you know, based on that data, and getting positive tests back, you know, from those that do have COVID, and also just people tagging. If you just tag actually you're sick, and we actually ask you questions when rest mode is prompted, you know, that helps us, again, keep learning and improving the algorithms. So we're sort of learning from the community and from each other. But yeah, what rest mode does is it gives you a little notice. Hey, you may be coming down with something. You know, forget your activity, forget rolling today at BJJ, right? We need to make sure that you get healthy and get some rest. And so we actually turn off the activity guidance. We try to give you more messages in the Insight Engine, the little messages we give to users every day, and insights on how to take rest and recuperate. And I think as we're developing more content, you'll see even more things there that'll be, you know, relevant to how you can get better in that kind of state. And I think it's you know, to your point, like, pretty cool and informative, because you can check, hey, is something else happening? Do I need to go see a doctor? You know, is something else off? And, you know, make sure that I let others around know me, like, hey, I think I'm coming down with something. And, you know, this sort of showed what I was feeling a bit. And, you know, so everyone has a little bit more sort of peace of mind.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
That's good to know about the tags too. I feel like knowing that that's actually helping you guys, like, I feel like now I will not go out of my way, but I'll be like, okay, yeah, like I can utilize this so that, you know, everyone can have a better understanding and we can all learn from each other. Cause I think I was just like, oh, it's just for me. Like, why do I need to add tags? It's fine. But I feel like I should start to utilize that more. So that's good to know.
I've been kind of using tags, but I also thought it was like a personal kind of thing. So as far as that, so what exactly would you suggest is like tagging? Like, what is the best practices for that?
So if you hit the plus center on the app, when you're actually in the app, you'll be able to see a couple different things. in the new app, you'll be able to record a workout. I know you don't have the new Ring and workout yet, but you can also add a workout, add a tag. And when you add a tag, you get all types of different options. And so, you can actually search for options alphabetically. There's a list. We're always adding new tags. So if you give us suggestions.
I think that you need to add a jiu-jitsu tag, please. And from the whole jiu-jitsu community.
Actually, now that I think about it, we have a partnership with the UFC, right? Daniel Cormier, even GSP, George St. Pierre, and others. And so I'm actually, now that you think about it, I think they'd be super happy if we did that. So
that's amazing. Well, no, I'm very excited. Then, maybe this might be a small subset of the community, but I would like a lightsaber training one as well. So, that's probably very small, but we're here. And we would like that. And you're in San Francisco too. So I feel like there's a big lightsaber community there, just in case you.
Now, the question is, did you use a lightsaber on Halloween? And were you Baby Yoda or not?
Oh, no, actually, we were Macklemore and Ryan Lewis for Halloween, which was.
It's a whole thing.
Had nothing to do with.
They reunited for a song. So we were like, this is our time to shine.
Well, I guess before we let you go, do you have any sleeping tips for anybody who might be struggling? Anything that you've either used or some of your sleep scientists have suggested?
Totally. I think consistency really matters. I know it sounds a little boring, but your body is set on something called circadian rhythm, right, or your biological clock. And so it's sort of like if you start your clock or your engine, your car at the same day, you start to get used to it. And I think that's one thing we see that really helps. And I would say for me, a lot of it was, so I have 2 cups of coffee a day. I finish my second cup at 10 a.m. I think that really helps me. Late dinner, I actually now eat 4 hours before I fall asleep. Don't stay up late. Don't watch an extra episode of Squid Game. Watch it, the next day and just break it up a bit. And so I think some of those daily habits that honestly aren't a ton of work just end up having a huge impact on how you feel and perform.
Yeah, there's so many things I never realized. So I don't drink, but one of the girl that we're talking to was saying, like, if you drink alcohol, that affects your body temperature and that's going to affect your sleep. So she's like, you can just adjust the thermometer or the temperature before you go to sleep so that can help kind of compensate for that. So they're like all these little weird hacks that I never would have thought about or even learned if it wasn't for this.
Alcohol is a huge one. I forgot to say that. Most of our users, I think who start using a Ring, they're like, wow, I know I feel a little bit worse when I drink the next day, but now seeing the data, right, is so much more empowering. And they're like, you know what, I do feel pretty bad today. I am what I used to think was just a little bit hungover, but I feel that much 20% worse, 30% worse. I can see it in my data, and they start to take a change. Literally had someone in here yesterday who, he went on dry January last year, saw his data improve, started to lose some weight, and then he looked at his data on the Ring, and he was like, holy cow, my heart rate literally has dropped 20%, right? I've lost over 10 pounds in a month. Like, he just kept it going, and he keeps looking better and better.
So now with the Gen 3, you guys have introduced a membership. Do you want to talk about like what that is and how that's going to help you guys kind of further this technology?
Yeah. Look, I think it's obviously something that people, when they hear, oh, the cost is going up, everyone sort of, shudders a bit. But I think if you actually look at it as a company and also as an industry, what that allows us to do is frankly bring the best, most accurate, research-driven, research-proven features to market in a quicker way. And, I think if you look at sort of the wearable industry, we really started out in step tracking, right? These things originally actually were called step trackers. But now, right, it's a sleep lab on your finger, right? Something that's actually monitoring your illness or even women's health, right? And I think in order to do that, we just found as a company, we got to build our team. We got to invest a lot more in research. But that's actually what our members want, right? They want the best and most accurate features. They want it in a research-driven way. They want to know that it's accurate. And they actually want to know what to do with it. Hence why we're investing in all this content and content production as well. And so I think moving to a membership model for us allows us to just do that in a better, faster way. And frankly, bring more cool stuff to market that our members want. And, I think the other thing is we were pretty thoughtful about how we did it. So if you were a previous, member, you can actually, if you upgrade into Gen 3, you actually have a free, membership for life. And then I think the other thing is, even from a pricing standpoint, this isn't something that we wanted to charge $30 a month for. We were actually like, hey, if we charge, $6 a month, $5.99 a month, and we give a 6-month free trial to any new member, right? Your total cost of ownership, sort of over 2 years is around $400. I think if you look at the basic, level Apple Watch, it's around $400 the gold one will set you back almost double that. And I think versus some of the other wearables out there, we still feel like the value we're delivering more value at a faster pace for our members, and frankly, at not much more of a price. And it helps us build a team to get all the stuff out there that our future members want.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I waste so much money on random subscriptions that are not making my life better. So I was like, this is something that is helping you guys improve the product. And this is something that like I'm willing to pay for. Like, this is incredible information. This is incredible data that you are getting. And so I was very excited with all the Gen 3 updates. Like, I was like, yes, this is everything that we wanted.
Well, appreciate that. And frankly, all of our members too, contributing. And I think, honestly, Jenna, like you said, right? The more we learn from each other, the more you tag, the more we learn, the more we can make, cool things for our future members, right? And prove that there's new science and, new things that we can do to improve our health. So I think that's what keeps us and the team going and, frankly, brings awesome product to market.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I will share with you our sleep score updates as they get a little better here after tech season is over.
I hope so. Tech season. Yeah, I keep saying it's like, looks like you could have gotten more sleep last night. I'm like, there was no time. I had to edit.
There's embargoes that are happening.
Yeah, 6 a.m. embargoes. There's no time to sleep.
Empathize with you all. I think we were just going through that. Like, we had a launch party last week, and when you launch a new website, there's always bugs and e-commerce issues, and like you could totally tell the team was like running on empty on like sleep and readiness scores, but running high on soul. And so it was like cool to get everyone out and celebrate that. But yeah, I think they're super thankful for the weekend to get some sleep and rest. So I feel like you're around the corner.
I'm just so glad that I got Jenna on this because this girl
I'm very excited.
Is the worst sleeper in the world. So
and I send you proof. I'm like, dude, look at this. And you're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. This brain, I can't shut off my brain.
Hey, better to learn that stuff at 32 than 62, right? So
well, thank you so much. This was awesome. You're the best. And congrats on the launch. I think everybody was pretty happy with it.
Thanks to both of you. Really appreciate it. And frankly, getting the awareness out there helps us a ton. So
thank you.
See ya.
Later. See ya. Bye.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Same Brain. I'm so excited that we got a chance to chat with Harpreet. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode. I'm such a huge fan of Oura Ring, and I'm one of those people that when I get obsessed and very into something, everyone's going to know about it. Yep. All of my friends, I'm going to be pushers. I'm like, Jenna, you got to get this. You got to get this. You got to get this.
Got it.
Everybody I know, I'm like, you got to get it. You got to get it. You got to get it. And especially because it has been helping me personally. I was like, I think that this can help so many people improve their lives, basically, with getting enough sleep, helping you recover for your day, for your activities, especially if you are doing sports and all kinds of like high intensity workouts. Like, this is going to help you so much.
Or even if you're just existing and you want to know more about your body, it's not too late to learn. And we're constantly changing too. We're getting older and, I'm kind of seeing different changes in my body and I'm like, oh goodness, what is happening? But now we're going to have the data behind it and I can assess and I can keep track, and it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and I think one thing too that a lot of you guys were saying, well, if I have an Apple Watch or if I have a Fitbit or if I have this or that, these things work very well together because for me, I don't like sleeping with my Apple Watch.
It's this too much.
I can sleep with. I keep this on all day. I mean, I even shower with this ring. Like, I literally don't take it off unless it needs to charge. The battery life is incredible.
It's
like
it is
about like 6 days. Wild. And then I'll just kind of charge it like for maybe like a half hour every couple days, just when when I see my charger and I'm like, oh, put this on there.
There's been so many times I'm like, where is it? Where's my ring? I'm like, it's on the charger. Why would I put it there so like I know where it is. And I'm like, and then I looked for it one day for like an hour. I'm like, it's on the charger. Why would I do that? Yeah. I also don't like sleeping with my Apple Watch because I kind of sleep on like my wrist. Like I will sleep on like my hand, and like this is like very non-invasive, whereas this is tight. Like, look, I'm also have an indent in my wrist from it. So I like to use these, these devices for different things. But like you said, they also can work together, which is very nice.
It's so light. I think my non-tech ring is actually heavier than this that is packed
all
full
those
of
diamonds.
Sensors.
There's like one.
Well, there's 1, 2,
couple tiny ones.
7.
Yeah, those are nice.
7. Nice.
Oh,
heavy.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. We do have a video version. If you are only listening, you can catch that at youtube.com/samebrain. You can also leave us reviews, anchor.fm/brain, voice messages, or Apple Podcasts. We usually read reviews every week. We have been slacking, but that's okay because we will be back at it. So make sure you guys leave some reviews there, and we will see you again next time. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, when's that next time? Don't know. Hard to say, but there will be a next time.
That's why you can turn on notifications so that you will be notified.
Love it.
Bye.
Bye.